Chapter to Truth, a spectrum, not a binary. The nature of truth is often thought of as absolute, something that is either correct or incorrect. However, truth in human experience is far more complex and exists on a spectrum, shaped by perception, biases, and individual experiences. What one person holds as undeniable truth may be viewed entirely differently by another. Understanding truth as something that exists within a range of interpretations allows us to better navigate disagreements, debates, and misunderstandings. William James, a founder of pragmatism, argued that truth is not absolute but plural, constantly shaped by our experiences and what works for us practically. In his work The Will to Believe, James posited that truths evolve as new experiences accumulate, and what is true for one person may not be true for another. This perspective aligns with the idea that truth exists on a spectrum, where each person's lived experience creates their version of truth, and multiple truths can coexist without necessarily contradicting each other. Truth, as we experience it, is never static. As human beings, our perceptions and beliefs are fluid, evolving as we encounter new experiences and ideas. Even facts, often considered the bedrock of truth, can be reinterpreted through different lenses. Michel Foucault, in his analysis of power and knowledge, argued that truth is not merely about objective facts but is shaped by discursive formations, systems of knowledge influenced by societal structures, power relations, and historical context. In this sense, even facts are subject to change based on how they are framed by those in power, further reinforcing the idea that truth exists on a spectrum. For example, historical events are a constant source of revision as new evidence emerges or societal values shift. Thomas Kuhn, a philosopher of science, explored this phenomenon in The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. Kuhn introduced the concept of paradigm shifts, showing that even scientific truths, often seen as objective, are susceptible to change when new evidence challenges established theories. What was once considered truth can be completely redefined when viewed through a new paradigm, illustrating how fluid truth can be. Perspective dictates what truth is for each individual, and those truths can vary greatly between people. In relationships, this subjectivity becomes especially apparent. Imagine two people having a heated argument. One person might leave the conversation feeling attacked and disrespected, while the other feels they were simply expressing genuine concern. Confirmation bias kicks in here, reinforcing each individual's version of the truth. The first person sees themselves as the victim of unfair treatment, while the second believes they were justified in their words. Both are convinced of their own truth, but neither has the full picture of the other's experience. Jean-Paul Sartre, a major figure in existentialism, argued that humans often impose their own subjective meaning onto situations. In his work Being and Nothingness, Sartre emphasized that human beings live in a world of interpretation, where their truths are shaped by how they choose to interpret their experiences. Sartre's insights highlight that what one person sees as an unquestionable truth is often shaped by their personal biases and incomplete information. Thus, truth becomes a personal interpretation rather than a fixed reality. This subjectivity makes truth a fluid and flexible concept, constantly shaped by the context in which we experience it. Richard Rorty, another key figure in pragmatism, echoed this idea by rejecting the notion of objective truth altogether. Rorty argued that truth is a social construct, shaped by language, culture, and community conventions. For Rorty, truth is less about correspondence with an objective reality and more about what we agree upon in a specific social context. There is also a dangerous side to relying too much on personal perspective. If we assume that our own truth is the only valid one, it becomes difficult to open our minds to other points of view. This kind of rigid thinking creates division, as individuals become entrenched in their version of the truth without considering other interpretations. Learning to recognize the fallibility of perspective is the first step in expanding our understanding. Hans-Georg emphasized the importance of unique humility, or the recognition that our interpretation of truth is always limited by our perspective. By acknowledging that we never have the full picture, we open the door to more meaningful dialogue and healthier communication. Recognizing that our truth is just one version opens the door to more nuanced meaning. Plato, in his allegory of the cave, explored the idea that what we perceive as truth might only be shadows of a deeper reality. This allegory reminds us that the truth we hold might only be a partial reflection of the full truth, distorted by our limited perspectives. Plato's allegory encourages us to question the truth we hold and Understanding truth as a spectrum, not a binary, helps us navigate the complexities of human relationships, communication, and understanding. Truth is not fixed but constantly shaped by our perception, biases, and context. By recognizing the fluidity of truth, we can develop a more flexible, open-minded approach to life, one that fosters curiosity, humility, and growth. Look out for the next post. Trust and